There is a mandatory evacuation here on the south shore of Long Island.
Just over 7 years ago, Superstorm Sandy barreled through Long Island, destroying homes, families, and changing the lives of Long Islanders forever.
I live all the way down there. Okay. It's going to be okay.
Now, Long Island is yet again in the midst of another crisis, the opioid epidemic.
The new synthetic drug and the deadly opioid epidemic.
Hundreds of Long Islanders and folks across our area dying of drug overdoses every year.
Adam passed away four years ago from an overdose while he was in rehab. I lost my son 3.5 years ago on July 6th.
Our son was Eric Kennedy. Today is his birthday, so he would have been 32.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Eric. Happy birthday to you.
There's something about making beads. There's something about picking the colors, picking the words, stringing them together. There's something uplifting, and it takes us out of our darkness. Adam was a loyal friend. He was a philosopher. He was fascinated with the universe. There was something that was very creative about him. He wrote music and he sang, and he was a beautiful, beautiful, soulful musician. In his memory, in his honor, wanted to be able to speak his name out loud. I wanted to be able to share his story, and I didn't want to be silent anymore.
And with those aspirations, the Beading Hearts was born. The angel moms in this unique Long Island bereavement group help others who have lost a child due to the disease of addiction. Their mission is to heal broken hearts, one bead at a time.
I started to make beads for other angel moms who had just lost their child. And we found that by making these beads, we started to heal quietly, slowly, loudly, purposefully. To have someone who lost their only child be able to get out of bed and come here and be able to be okay or not okay, it's permission. We give permission to ourselves to start to live again.
The group grew out of a nonprofit foundation the Newsons created in their son's honor shortly after he lost his battle with drug addiction in November 2015.
When he was 22, he had a delusional breakdown. It was the start of a road of in and out of hospitals trying to find his mental wellness. And he never really got that back. He was prescribed some pharmaceutical drugs. When his doctor was fired for overprescribing, that's when he turned to heroin.
Beading Hearts members Mary and Kevin Kennedy found their son in a similar situation. Eric was also caught in the seductive grip of opioids plaguing Long Island.
He will have been gone 3 years come this March 4th. What can we say about him? So, quiet, smart, hardworking. He would never get a dog from a breeder, or he said, got to rescue a dog that needs help. He's very, very missed. He struggled through early
years. Went on
years.
for a long time. He passed when he was 29.
One thought we have, although there's no substantiated data to back it, right? But he did have 4 wisdom teeth pulled when he was maybe 17. And of course the dentist gave him Vicodin. And I do believe in my heart that was the introduction to what that could be. And I think that's when that just started going downhill. We could sit here and just be pissed at everybody. We could be pissed at the world. We could be pissed at our kids. We could be mad at ourselves. Really give up, and no one would blame us for doing that. But this group is about seeing it a different way, maybe not going down that path.
Lauren Pinka found healing through the Beating Hearts as well, recovering from the loss of her son James.
I mean, there's safety in numbers, and there's safety, being around people that understand exactly what you're feeling without having to explain that feeling. I call it my unspoken security blanket. It's like when you enter this room and you just feel connected, understood. James passed when he was only 19 years old. He was actually an up-and-coming DJ. With the DJ scene comes the rave scene, comes the rave drugs. So he was introduced to Molly, which he very much enjoyed. Then he met a girlfriend. He had many girlfriends, but one girlfriend who was a heroin addict described to him like this high that was, incredible, this utopia that he was going to experience. She offered to tie him up, shoot him up, and he said yes, which still blows my mind to this day. But of course, heroin took over, and that's when he had to go to rehab. Insurance is willing to pay for 28 days, so it's not enough time. For a 19-year-old kid that's, still gonna come home and hang out with his friends, like they need, 6 months, 9 months, a year, and then a good sober home placement after that, which is also difficult to find here on Long Island. There are some good quality homes, but there are other homes that are, the regulation allows people with the wrong interests to open up a home to get the money from the state and really have no interest in the people that are actually there.
My son had insurance. He paid every month. I mean, this is what he had, and that was the answer he got. We'd go wait for 6 hours, and he wouldn't get in. There'd be no beds.
Right.
It shouldn't be that way.
Show up in the morning and hope there's a bed.
And hope there's a bed.
Long Island currently has around 120 beds for inpatient treatment, according to New York's Office of Addiction Services site. With many treatment centers forced to shut their doors due to the coronavirus pandemic, the future remains unclear for those seeking recovery.
After 8 months of being sober, let me say sober, because he always smoked weed, always. He had a friend who dared him to swallow a bottle of Care One Cough and Cold, which is a cold medicine that they sell on the shelves of CVS. He laughed at the idea of swallowing that bottle because he said, this is never going to get me high. I've done crazy things. I've done really dangerous things. I've, ran the gamut. His friend was like, no, it's like a poor man's LSD. It's going to get you high. You're going to like it. And so he did it in front of all of his friends, but nobody stopped him. Nobody even suggested that he shouldn't do that. So he swallowed the whole bottle. The problem is that he forgot that he'd already been prescribed Xanax by his psychiatrist, which was a mistake. And when that happened, the psychiatrist warned me that Xanax is not the best choice for anxiety because of the way that it interacts with other drugs. And that's exactly what happened. So the Xanax and that cough medicine together lowered his respiratory rate down to the point that it stopped his heart. And he passed away in his sleep at home. And I discovered him the next morning, probably 6 hours after he actually passed. So, tough thing for me. I mean, obviously as a mother, but because I heard him snoring, that funny snore that most parents of drug addicts would recognize and know that their son or daughter is in respiratory arrest, and I didn't recognize those signs. I thought he was snoring because he had a cold, and I was happy that he was home, and I was happy that he was sleeping. As a result of that, I brought the Red Watch Band program to East Islip High School, which was started in Stony Brook University. This program, which empowers the bystander. It teaches kids how to recognize warning signs about overdose, drug overdose, alcohol overdose. And it's hard for me because I realized what I didn't know. Had I known what the Red Watch Band program has taught me, I might have been able to save my son's life that night. So that's something that I struggle with, because I have to live with that. But the Beading Hearts helps me cope. I'm a new person today, and I'm working hard in this field of addiction, and I'll continue to do so as long as I can speak my sensei.
That's not all Lauren is doing in James's honor. She founded the James Pinka Foundation to help others affected by the devastating opioid epidemic.
The James Pinka Foundation and the Beading Hearts are now working together to work on a program that's called a warm handoff. So when the inmates are released from Yaphank, we would be there to greet them, get them into a decent sober home, be kind of like that motherly angel mom or mentor.
But in jails now, we bead with the inmates. We let them know that they matter. We show up as mommies, and perhaps their mom is not talking to them anymore. Imagine.
When they're on their own, that's the hard part. When you leave rehab and you leave jail, that's when the work really begins. And if they don't have the resources and they don't have the support, they're going to repeat and end up back where they were.
I think there's got to be this long-term recovery and how they get back into life again. This is going to be lifelong for them, but we don't give that enough due diligence.
I guess that's my hope as far as the epidemic is concerned, that we can really do a better job in recovery so that recovery lasts, because it is possible to recover.
And recovery isn't just limited to those addicted. The Beading Hearts work through unspeakable grief and loss while learning to smile again together.
This is actually my first true meeting. There's been a couple other couple meetings I've been to, but they're great. You know, we've been to other grief groups. They're good, but it's very serious. This is very encouraging and uplifting.
These meetings, of course, bring us all together as support. This is what Linda kind of gives us as gifts. So we meditate. Sometimes she surprises us with a medium. All kinds of self-help we do here.
And just, if you can repeat, I now end this session. And we now close this space.
I think the pictures will show, because words can't express what's really happening here. Words fall short of the depth and how profound the connection is with us.
Since its founding, the group has grown exponentially in response to the opioid crisis devastating the island.
At first, when we were here, we would just be at one dining room table. There'd be about 15 of us. Now we have a membership of over 300. I would say actively, there's like 80 of us that participate in sober homes, the Yaphank jail.
So it's evolving. We have now a siblings group, because the siblings know the most and have the least amount they're able to share. We're starting a separate group for spouses. What we went through is very similar, but the conversations become different based upon relationship. Like for a mommy, it's unconditional.
I think everyone experiences it differently, and it certainly demands respect for everybody's journey in grief. I think this group allows for that journey to be different for everyone. I think this group can do a good job of balancing. That's not an easy feat when you're dealing with emotions at this level.
You imagine that your story is the worst. It's not. When we hear other stories, we realize we loved as best as we could. We did as best as we could.
We know that grief is a journey that really doesn't end. There's ebbs and flows, ups and downs, there's bad days, good days, and there's joy, and we as a group, we talk a lot about how we experience joy, and that we're allowed to experience joy. And then the next day could be a devastating day, and that's okay too.
We don't have answers, we don't claim to have answers, we just show up with our broken open hearts. We believe through this devastating disease, this devastating state that we're in, we have found a way to become our best selves, better for ourselves, our families, in honor and memory of our children, and for each other.
Founder Linda Newson has advice for parents who have suffered similarly, dealing with the loss of a child due to addiction.
Stay open, love them more. Try not to live in the isolation of it, the shame of it. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of blame to go around. And what changed me was when I accepted and really received the the 3 C's, that I didn't cause it, and I couldn't control it, and I couldn't cure it. When I accepted that for myself, I accepted that for everybody around. Oh my goodness. What are my hopes for the future is that we don't get any more new members unless they've been looking for us for a long time.